tick until we grow.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Music Monday show with Nancy and Lisa. That was Throwing Stones. It is the second single from world-renowned bass player Chuck-Wright's brand new solo album. It's called Sheltering Sky. It's out now through Cleopatra Records. We love Cleopatra. They're really a great album venue. And Chuck is here. How are you, Chuck?
I'm very good. I'm excited. I've been going nonstop doing interviews about the album, and it's been very well received all around from everybody. They're basically kind of shocked at first, I think, because a lot of people just know me as a rock bass player. But if you look at, I've done over 100 albums. If you look at all the different things I've done, I actually co-produced 2 reggae records. I did ambient trance. I've done rap with Send Off from Cypress Hill. I've done country. I've done a lot of different things. And I was actually in a flamenco band for 2 years, which you can kind of hear that influence on Weight of Silence, which is the opening track. But the video you just saw, somebody compared it to Primus meets Stevie Wonder, which is an interesting combo platter. But actually that song, the lyric and the vocal melody were written by Joe Retta, who's a very close friend of mine. And we were in a project called Heaven and Earth at one time. He was in the suite and Dio Disciples. I'm not, Dio Disciples. Anyway, he wrote the lyric, which is an anti-war message. But he wrote it last year. It was before the Russian invasion. So when I made the video, obviously I wanted to tie that up, what was going on in the world now with that. And the message of the song is, we started out as humans throwing stones at each other. Now we're like throwing missiles at each other. When are we going to learn? How much longer will it take before we learn?
Yeah, no, it's sad what is going on, and it doesn't really solve anything. It's
a land grab. It's an aggressive land grab for Putin, and we all know that's what's going on. He takes over the ports there and the agricultural. Anyway, they've become a pariah state. Russia has. It's this last few years have been crazy between the pandemic and this. The only good thing about the pandemic for me, and God, it's so sad that we've lost so many people, but this was the first time I've had the time to sit down and just create music. And when I was looking around at the world when the pandemic hit, it had a post-apocalyptic feel to it, with the empty streets, New York City, nobody on the street of all places. And so I sat down and wrote the song that we were talking about earlier, Weight of Silence, because it's the silence of everything is pretty heavy. And I edited together a video with drone footage of very famous places, empty cities like New York City and Paris, and with some footage of me playing all the instruments. And I originally put that out, and then I was contacted by Troy Lucetta, the drummer from Tesla, he said, "Hey, I love this. I'd love to play drums on it." So he had a studio, put some drums on it, and then another friend named Allen Hinds, who's a jazz fusion guitarist that's super popular here. He sells out wherever he plays. He played on it, and then Dark Sharinian from Dream Theater ended up playing on it. So I edited together a new version of it and put that out, and it just won Best Video and Best Instrumental Song with the Rock Music Alliance Awards, which that just happened 2 days ago. And
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't even know it was nominated. So
no, but it's cool.
Hey, by the way, you won.
But I think it's such a great start to the album, because it leads you through, and your album has so many different styles in it. It flows. It's mystical, otherworldly yet worldly. There's like a global feel to it at the same time, and it's dark and then light. It's really quite a trip, and I've listened to it so much. The first time John sent it, I just started playing, and I'm like, oh God, we got to do this, And I think people always go back to your days in Quiet-Riot. They're going to be kind of shocked about this.
Well, the thing about this is I never intended to be doing a solo album. I just was writing song, as they say, art for art's sake, just writing music I would want to hear, and just started recording. Then I would contact a friend of mine, from whatever band or just people I've worked with, through doing Ultimate Jam Night, new people I've met or people I've known throughout my history and career that I thought would be perfect for this part I'm working on. And I said, hey, check this out. You want to play on it? I think you'd be great on it. And they all said, yeah, I want to do this. This is great. So that's how I ended up having 41 guest performers on my
I know,
album.
it's crazy. I can't keep, I was looking at
It's
the list.
cool,
I'm like,
though.
well, he's just gonna have to tell us who's on what because,
Yeah,
you know, it's
it does on
wild.
the album. In the album package, it says who's on what.
Awesome.
Hence the name Chuck-Wright's Sheltering Sky. It's not like Chuck Wright and the album title Sheltering Sky. It's kind of like a project title, or because I've always kind of felt like I'm the with Ultimate Jam Night since 2015, bringing in 40 to 100 musicians at every show. I've kind of felt like, you know, an overseer, the umbrella over everybody and putting people together, and so that's kind of where the name came from originally. And I think it fits the style of the music because it's pretty cinematic feeling album, and Sheltering Sky kind of has that feel to it.
I feel like it's gonna end up on a lot of soundtracks as a soundtrack for
Mhm.
movies and.
For sure.
You know, that would be great because that's one of the only revenue streams left for the music.
I know, right? Oh yeah, go
No.
put it on Spotify. Yippee!
Oh, I
I
know.
was like, oh,
Golly.
great. I
Listen,
had 1 million
Bandcamp
listens on Spotify and I made 25 cents.
I know, really, and so, but Bandcamp is pretty
That's
cool. I think they're about
crazy.
the only ones
Yeah,
that are
that's cool.
pretty
You know,
cool.
this for me is not about any of that. This is about,
Yeah.
I really, you know, once it became an album, I had 5 songs and I put that video together with my friend Drew Lanius, who's a 3D animator, and we put the video together around the time that Ruth Ginsburg was passed. And I go, you know what? There's still an army of human rights believers out there. So that's why I made the army about. So at this point, I had the 5 songs pretty much finished. And I said, you know what? I think I have something here. I think I have let me see. And I had other songs written that weren't close to being finished, but so let me see if somebody would be interested in it. So I shopped around, and Brian Pereira, who I've worked with in the past, said, yeah, let's do this. This is great.
Cool.
And the thing that's great about that label is they don't meddle, you know, where some labels get in there and they tell you, no, you can't do that song, or you need to do this. You got to have another song like that, or it's none of that. That's why I was able to have such an eclectic, diverse album.
It's big because it is craft, it's art, and I think they understand from all the interviews and albums we've heard through Cleopatra. Just about all the artists have said the same thing, and it is really important when it comes to craft, because that's the first thing that hit me when I listened. I was like, this is crafted, this is thoughtful, yet it's you know, not overproduced. And I think that's, you could go there really easily with this, you know, where you could overdo it, but you've cut it right at that piece where
I didn't get too crazy.
you know what I mean? Yeah, it's
and this was piecemeal, you know, for lack of a better term, where I would talk with the person about what I'm looking for, and then we'd go back and forth online. So it was never a group of people really in the studio at one time, except for there's 3 tracks that I recorded earlier when Pat Torpy, my very good friend from Mr. Big, was alive. We were in the studio and recorded a bunch of things, and that's how Army of Me came about. Is we were just jamming in the studio, and the drum beat basically comes from Levee Breaks. John Bonham, you know, Bjork got that sample and did that. So we were just jamming on it. We recorded it, and then I was going through some files and I found these songs, and I said, I have to finish these songs. These are great, and I want to honor my friend.
I love that. I think
that's great.
I kind of feel like, in a way, like it would be cool with some of like Army of Me and some of your songs on there to get you with Tom Morello. I was just kind of feeling that too. For some, I don't know why.
I think you would appreciate what I'm up to.
Yeah, I think so too, you know, but the other part is you're playing more than the bass on this, right? And some of it fretless, all these different styles.
All of it.
All that I'm playing, all of them, but one song, which is an instrumental song called Farewell Horizon, that I came up with all on bass parts. And then I went to my friend Toshi Yanagi, who you might know from the Jimmy Kimmel Show. He's a guitar player there, but he plays everything great, and he's a great fusion guy. And I said, hey, listen, I really want some Jeff Beck meets like Alan Holdsworth type guitar parts on this, and you please write it with me, come up with some melodies. So that's how that came about. But everything else on the album was done with me sitting down with an acoustic guitar.
Wow.
And then I also play keyboards, and I do textural stuff, and I do some percussion. one of the songs that came out all at one time, I got the phone call that Frankie Benelli, the drummer in Quiet-Riot, who had been working with off and on since 81, 26 years of my life with the guy. Anyway, I found out that, he'd passed. And so I sat down, just, took it in.
Yeah.
And wrote "See You on the Other Side."
Yeah, that's it. That, and then, I think music is the healer, right? And the unifier. And it's hard when we lost our bass player in the band a few years ago, and it was a very sudden, like, we were doing a live show and all of a sudden it was like, what the hell happened? He fell down and that was it.
Right there? He died on stage?
He was on we were doing a radio show, but he was our bass player years ago, and he fell down in the shower and died. Like, it's one of those crazy freak things.
You know what? It's a lot of deaths from slippage.
It's a slippage, yeah, But he what was so hard about his passing was all the music. So music was the savior, but at the same time, at the beginning of it, I didn't want to hear anything because it was so connected.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hard whenever someone passes in the music world. I feel for all the musicians, because it's like every song that you've talked about, or worked on, or it just kind of, it's a hard thing. One of the songs I really like, "Cradle in the Sun." Tell us about that and who's singing. It's amazing.
Oh, you know what? That song almost didn't get on the album.
Oh no, it's cool. It was a surprise.
Only
Talk about a
because
surprise.
it's such a curveball. It's really a lot like Robert Plant, Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
Folky thing, and I have lap steel guitar on it. And there's a singer named Shelley Bonet who sings with my friend Mitch Perry, who's also on the album. I don't know if you know Mitch from Edgar Winter and Michael Schenker and everything. And he's my house guitar player at Ultimate Jam Night. He has his own solo thing he's been doing, the Mitch Perry group, and she is a singer with him. And I love the tone of her voice, that raspy, soulful type of voice. And August Young is the other vocal on there. He's actually the singer on "See You on the Other Side." He was singing with Frankie Benelli in his Zeppelin thing that he was doing. But I said, hey, I want to do a Robert Plant kind of thing. So I went to the guy that sings like Robert Plant,
Makes sense.
And I had the chorus idea for it and all the music for it. And he worked with me on the verses for that song. But yeah, I'm glad you picked that one out. It's not, you wouldn't think right away from a rock guy to be doing something like that. But
it feels good. It felt it flowed. It just felt so natural to listen to, and I kind of felt like I was outside in the desert.
I was going to say, sitting around the campfire.
Yeah, exactly. And but it not hokey, right? Whenever people talk about but you know what I mean. We're not playing Kumbaya.
I wanted to do like a almost like a gospel chorus on it with all the voices, Lorelei.
Oh wow,
that kind of thing. So there's some real low voices in there, and there's a lot of harmony going on in that chorus. And
it's like a Joshua Tree thing. It's got to go out to Joshua Tree National Park with it. That's it.
It is. Now, I just thought of this. An interesting thing about that song is the name Lorelei came to me in my head as something to sing. And I didn't know the connection until somebody pointed out. They go, you know what Lorelei is from? It's from Greek mythology. That was the name of the mermaid that called the ships to crash.
Nice.
Wow.
That's weird.
And the chorus I came up with is Lorelei, do you hear me calling Lorelei, And it's it's really weird the way that happened.
That's weird too, because we've been, doing the Pacific Northwest. We drove up Northern California,
right,
the Redwoods, and all the way up, through up in the Seattle and all the little islands like Whidbey Island and stuff. And so all of these areas, like, it's different from other areas. It's just different. They have these sculptures, these statues of women with the lantern looking out, like, almost like praying and shit, for the ships and everything. So all this maritime history. But now I'm thinking it a completely different way.
Now
I'm going to call them all Lorelei's, because everybody's like, oh, she's praying, she's waiting for, her fisherman husband to come home, and now I got a whole new thing.
No, actually, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and there's a whole thing about it. There's a place.
That's cool.
I think it's in Greece, this area where the ships would go by, and there's this curve and there's this rock that she's known to have been at. All the ships in, Anyway, that's just a weird, I haven't thought about it. Until
She's a giant
I
octopus.
think there's a sculpture when you come into Amsterdam of her sitting on a rock.
Is that her?
Yeah,
Well,
I
don't
think it
I think
is.
that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's her. I think it might be somebody. I don't know. I did see that.
Have
I
you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
I'll
saw
have
it.
to check.
I saw it in
Yeah.
Copenhagen when I was in
Oh, is
Copenhagen.
it
Yeah,
Copenhagen?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
Copenhagen. I
Yeah.
think it's a different mermaid.
Yeah, I think it's a different one too. But
You
Yeah.
think?
anyway, I didn't.
It's cool.
The name just
I
came
mean-
to me, and I don't know
Yeah.
why it came to me, but it came to me when I was coming up with the chorus idea for it.
That's a
And-
trip, man. But that's
Yeah, I
cool.
know.
And
It
you wouldn't
took
think
me
about
out.
the ocean. Well, the
There's-
ocean and the desert are connected.
There's been a few
yeah.
trippy things with this record in the serendipity, and unfortunately sad serendipity with the war connection, and
Right.
then doing the pandemic thing with Weight of Silence, and then all the unrest that we were going through.
Didn't you do a show for it with your Ultimate Jam? Didn't you do something benefiting the Ukraine?
We did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The show before the last one, we did a benefit for the World Central Kitchen and raised a lot of money. And we auctioned off things, and we had a lot of great Steelheart and Bullet Boys and a bunch of different people came down and played. It was a packed. You couldn't fit more people in there. It was a great show.
Oh
Actually
man.
got a special backdrop made up for it. For that, and that's one of the things that Ultimate Jam Night does. I mean, we will do charity events now and then. Like what we do food drives once a year for the homeless here.
Oh,
That's nice.
And when the Pulse nightclub incident happened,
Oh.
that shooting, we did a whole thing for that, and flew out some people from that. Tried to raise money to help those people, and we do.
so this is at where? This is at the
It's
whiskey,
at the
right?
legendary Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah.
Nancy,
With
your
gold.
old haunt.
Yeah,
I
it's,
used to sneak in before I was of age.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, I was going there before I was age too. I saw Yes there for $5 when I was 15. So,
No way.
yeah.
So cool.
Their first tour, and Black Sabbath there, and a bunch of other great bands.
Ah, that would have been
That's
epic.
fun.
It is kind of, it's awesome to have that be
It's-
my home.
That's a cool
It's
place.
event.
Yeah.
And it's a free event, and I just keep, it's about the music community and bringing people together, and we do a different theme every week. This week is Britain
Wow.
Rocks, which part I decided when we're doing Britain Rocks, I go, well, this has to be part one, because if you look at the list of great artists out of the UK, it's insane,
Yeah.
So we'll probably be part 15 by the time we get done with it all.
Oh
don't
man,
know.
I want to go with next time we're in LA. We got to do this. I want to
Oh,
go.
yeah, you got to come
Oh,
by.
you should.
Yeah, I want to go
Yeah,
watch
you'll
that.
like
Yeah.
it, Lisa.
It used
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean,
cool.
it's just so good to have live music back. It's
Yeah.
God. I mean, it's like taking away chocolate off the menu. It's like
Yeah. Well, no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, every
Yeah.
excitement with people now coming to, sometimes it's the first show they've seen in 2 years, they finally got out, and for a lot of the players too. They hadn't really played since the pandemic hit, and we're braving it. I know it hasn't gone away.
Yeah.
My feeling is I think it's going to be around like the cold. It's going to be something.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get a
Yeah.
shot for like the flu every year just to get it. I had
Yeah.
it. It was mild because I'm now double boosted. So
I
It's
just
just
feel like
all those shots you had to get as a kid going before you could go to school. You had to get the measles things, and eventually, measles went away. So we're
Yeah.
just going to have to do it that way.
yeah, I think
we've had to be careful traveling. Just mask up and.
Well, we were with Quiet-Riot. I was doing a lot of weekend flyouts. So even during the heat, in fact, we did Sturgis, and there was like 6,000 unmasked people there because
Yikes.
they're all those type of people. So I had a fan. I had a fan in front. I had a fan in front of me facing the other way, shooting.
Yeah, blow your germs that way.
Yeah, because they're all yelling. "Yeah!" It's all
It's
going
like-
right back.
Yeah, send it back to you. Take it back. I mean, that's funny. But that's
Yeah.
actually funny. I cannot tell the story on air, but
Yeah.
when we first started this, traveling and having to change over how we travel because of COVID, we started pet sitting. We were talking about that earlier, but one of our first sits was a lady who's in her 70s, also called Nancy, and she was
Stop
going
it.
to Sturgis on her last hurrah, basically on her bike, driving from Florida, riding from Florida to Sturgis. Anyway,
Mhm.
it got crazy, and she has earned the name Dirty Godiva, and I'm going to leave it there. 'Cause it
Ah,
got a
Well,
little weird.
You could just
I
say
can
she's a nudist,
She was a nudist, and
okay.
and it's kind of weird.
it,
I
just
think
anyway.
I just saw Paul McCartney on Friday, and he did "Dirty," right? He
Yeah,
changed the lyric
well,
to
the
you.
dirty
Yeah, Dirty
Godiva.
Madonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dirty. Yeah, now it's like, well, then I'm thinking of, well, we can't play Michael Jackson around him, like Dirty Diana. You couldn't be
Yeah,
doing that. He'll
that's
get mad.
yeah. You can't.
That's a no-no. That's a
Yeah, you
big
can't go
no-no.
there anymore. It's
So
which is
with
sad.
this album, are you gonna be able to like get people together to
Well,
play live with
I
some
mean,
of the
this
songs?
comes up with everybody, and
Yeah, well, we want to see.
Yeah.
the true honest answer to that, from for me to reproduce the kind of show I would want to do, to be an immersive experience with this music, that the same feeling you get with the live album, I would need Roger Waters' budget to do
Yeah,
it.
really.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I would need, because I would want, I'm totally into production, show production, hence I do Ultimate Jam.
But the
now.
video behind
But-
would be
But,
like
like,
that, wouldn't
I'm
it?
just having
Wow.
footage that ties into everything and kind of telling a story. But there's so many musicians. I mean, I've got acoustic guitars, I've pedal steel, I've got keyboards, I've got, so to pull it off properly, I don't know if I could do it. I could do a honed down version and do some of the songs off of it, and use
Good for Ultimate Jam, because it is an Ultimate Jam that way.
well, yeah, I could probably, in fact, that was, my partner said, hey, you should at least do a couple. So I'm thinking about, we're set up there with 5 cameras to do live streaming, and when we do that, and I was thinking about doing a few of the songs and filming it all, and then putting together a nice live presentation of like Throwing Stones, for instance. I just got to get Joe Retta down here. He lives in Reno. Hence, Joe Retta sang an incredible vocal on Throwing Stones, but he couldn't be here. So I got together with my friend that I did the video with, and I said, what are we gonna do? So we came up with the concept of putting him in the TV. Like it's everything's all over the place. You saw how it's all disheveled looking. We actually shot in a bunker, and you saw the TV room, and so we put him in a TV.
Cool.
Yes, and it worked really well.
See that I dig stuff like that. That's got to
Yeah.
be. It's fun, it reminds me of old,
clever.
like, yeah, I mean, it's like old Peter Gabriel when he started doing all
Right.
kinds of crazy stuff like that,
One of my favorite artists of all time. I saw,
David Byrne,
yeah, I actually saw Genesis first concert. Speaking of growing up here, I saw their very first concert at the Roxy. A little club.
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
I've been a
That's
Genesis.
cool.
I'm really a Prog background guy.
That makes sense. That's what,
yeah. In fact, I had a band late 70s for 6 years that was called Satyr, and we were the first band in history to have a laser show. We
Oh, wow.
yeah, we were the guy that was developing the technology up at Pasadena Tech, and we were shooting it off the mirrors for the first time.
Cool.
We had a screen behind us, and we were doing all kinds of crazy laser stuff with the screen, and I had 2 stages that looked like flying saucers, and we were really big draw. Yeah, we were a really big draw back then. But I wrote all the music. We were odd time signatures. It was kind of a cross between, if you can imagine, Genesis and Led Zeppelin. I mean,
I like
we rock
it.
and rolled, but we did some trippy things. We actually handed out the singer was an amazing artist, and we were totally into. I don't know if you're familiar with Heavy Metal Magazine, which is a cartoon-oriented sci-fi type magazine. So we handed out these little pamphlets that was for this thing called the Trilogy, which was a sci-fi story within our show, so people could read along, like, with the lyrics and how the story unfolds. It was a pretty elaborate band that was going. But yeah, my roots are all changed after seeing Yes I was into Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, and I saw Yes when I was a kid, and I went, oh my God. So,
it gets even bigger. Yeah.
so I became more of that kind of into that kind
That's fun.
Is that your bird, or Nancy? Are those?
Yeah,
the guinea
No,
pigs?
that's, and the pig is now waking up.
No,
The pig
that's-
hears the bird. This is funny.
His name is Chibi Chan,
Oh,
and
cool.
he was actually Keith Emerson's bird. My
way.
yeah, my girlfriend was with Keith for 10 years until he passed.
Oh wow.
And he actually does Tarkus. He goes, "Do, do, 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 do."
No way.
Yeah. And I guess he
That's
jumped out of
cool.
his cage and he's out by out the office door right now.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully he
Oh my
won't
God.
interfere too much.
That's
Oh, that's
cool.
funny. I love it.
I like it.
We
yeah.
always have an animal on our shows, and when it's somebody
Somewhere.
else's, we're like, okay,
Well, he's
that's
out there.
awesome. No, that's all the time,
He
you
might,
know.
he might stop if I open the door. Hi, Chibi.
Oh, he
He's
wants to
looking for
come
me.
in.
The thing is,
Oh.
he loves himself so much. He has a mirror.
Oh,
He
yeah.
goes- As soon as he sees the mirror, he goes, "I love you, Chibi Chan."
Oh
Yeah.
no, way, that's so funny. That is
Yes,
so funny.
Open the
I
door
love
now.
it.
He's quiet. Anyway,
Mm.
So, what is next for you? Now this
Um,
project is
well,
out and about.
it's about to come out. So all my energies right now have been to do things like discussing the record with you, people like you. That I'm glad you're so into it. It's great.
I dig it.
Mm.
I think it should have like Nancy's always into the rock operas and
Mhm.
Yeah.
that whole thing, and if you can add
Yeah.
sci-fi and everything, but with your prog rock background, it makes perfect sense to this album because it
Mm.
definitely has it in there. And I think
Yeah.
it'd be really cool to like a series of videos, like it's almost like could do like a movie series with the videos.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
they're all telling a story that it's so far the videos have been reflective of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I do want to do at least one more. And the song "See You on the Other Side's been getting a really great response. So I'm
Mhm.
considering that, and "Giving Up the Ghost" is one of my favorite songs on the
I
song.
love that. Oh
It's
my
a
gosh.
very beautiful song. The guitar solo in it by Jude Gold,
Mm.
who's with Jefferson Starship, is just phenomenal. All the players there's 5 guitar players on that song.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, I
What-
know.
Wow.
It's like,
Darkness was a
Mm.
surprise too.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
But it was
yeah, you know
perfect
what?
placement in the whole series though,
Oh, yeah, I was. Sequencing this record was not easy. That song has always been a favorite of mine since I was a kid. I saw the Youngbloods when I was a kid. Before I think I was 15 or 14 or whatever. And but that song has always just
It's
hit me
cool.
every time with the lyric.
Yeah.
But I really wanted
Yeah.
to do a truly Celtic approach to it. So I have fiddle. I have an acoustic band here in town called Acoustic Saints, and my guitar player also is a killer violin player. His name is Rick Salon.
Mm.
I had him do fiddle, and then I added Bahrain, and then I wanted to do like
Ooh.
a tribal drum
Cool.
corps, so I have 3 different drummers playing tom-tom things. It'd be perfect for
Wow.
like a movie like Braveheart or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To me, I love that. And because I love anything that gets tribal, and Celtic music
Mm.
does it, it's
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
a big Lorena McKennitt fan, so that's totally right there. And the singer on it is so good. It's David Victor, he was in Boston for a couple of years. The band Boston,
Mhm.
not the city, the band.
I know,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he just did a brilliant job on the vocal. And so that's another one that I just felt needed to be done. I actually was going to sing
Cool.
it. I sing on most of the records I'm on as a
Yeah.
background singer, but
Hmm.
I have so many great singers around me. I go, why I could do it even better? Why not do it better? So hence he's on
I
that
do.
song.
Mm. Nice.
I love it. To me,
Mm.
have you ever heard of the Wicked Tinkers?
I have not.
Oh my
Oh.
God. So
Wow.
okay. So like, how music can just get into this building of a frenzy, like, they're Celtic, but they bring in like a didgeridoo and,
Mhm.
and they get a little crazy. They go to all those like Celtic, festivals, and we used to go watch them at the San Diego Scottish Highland Games, but it gets so tribal and so crazy, and they're
very
just beating,
tribal.
beating the drums, going out in the audience, and you'd dig it. I think you'd dig it if you check them out. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
you have to listen to Wallop the Cat.
Wallop the Cat. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, no, I love that you put it in there because it makes sense where it is with
Tell
all
me the
the
name
different,
again.
the Wicked Tinkers.
Wicked.
I think their label that is theirs is Thistle Prick Productions. But yeah, they've done a lot. They've like, backed up the Dixie Chicks, and
Oh, I love
we've
that.
done so many interviews, and
Mm.
it's just their energy, and they're really good musicians, they, and
Well, it
they
sounds
just,
like a world musician kind of thing.
Yeah, them and another band, Tempest. You'd see them, and then
Tempest is good too.
Tempest is wild,
More
and they
rock.
get more Viking, and
Yeah.
yeah, things will get broken. You know,
Mhm.
it's cool. It's really neat, and I just when it ends up on an album that you least expect it on, it makes me really happy to hear that kind of music.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's what, you know what, one of the things with, now that it's an album, because like I said, I never intended it to do a solo album. I would much prefer this to be my legacy than some of the rock stuff. Like, you know, everybody knows Bang Your Head because it sold 10 million copies and it's my first album I ever did and all that. But really what I'm about is this album musically.
Mm.
I mean, when I was with House of Lords, I was a main writer there, and there's some depth and progginess to some of that, and it was a great band live. But this album really kind of covers all the stuff I'm into, except for I didn't do any reggae. I produced 2 reggae records, but I didn't do any reggae.
I want to hear those. Yeah, I do want
Yeah,
to know
we'll have to
this.
look
You know,
those
talk
up.
about writing. Has it changed for you since when you first started writing? About how you write because of technology? Has it changed?
Well, putting the songs together certainly has helped, and also working at home, being able to just overdub ideas myself, you know, and try different things here at home. Has
Because
been
you
great.
produced this album too. You
I
produced
did,
it.
and I had different guys mix.
Okay.
In general. Yeah, there's different guys involved. Tim Jansen's, who's an amazing talent. I mean, he's won awards as a film scorer and all that. Has become a friend of mine, and he actually co-produced some of the songs with me, and he mixed some of the songs on it, and he's also the cinematographer and editor.
Oh,
So
wow.
he's a genius.
Wow.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's from Belgium. He's I'm so, you know, and we've become very close friends, and we've been talking about doing a video production company together.
It would be cool
On the
because your
video,
music,
I produced
your
the
music,
videos.
yeah.
I
Oh,
produced it. I put it all together, and then he's got the vision, and you know the being such a great camera person and editor. And also I'm blessed too. The album cover. I don't know if you probably don't know, but I have dabbled in graphic design. I worked for 3 labels in the 90s I've done over 200 CD packages, but when the best of the best, Glenn Wexler, who's done Rush, he's done Black Sabbath, he's done 2 Van Halen, on and on and on. He's been on the cover of Time. I mean, he was in Time magazine, all this. When he says, hey, you know, I'd be into doing your cover, your CD package for you, you know, I'm going, oh my God, am I lucky or what? So
it's cool.
I think the bottom line is with this Sheltering Sky, I've been able to surround myself with really, really talented people
That's exciting.
that all brought their A game.
Well, you can hear it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, to me, it just is such, you know, because I didn't even look at the names, and I have to keep going back because I just listen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just, you're just stuck in it. And it is like I said, it's just so well crafted, but flows. And that's what I always listen to, is when it can go into a different genre of music, or another song that's completely different that you wouldn't expect, but it should flow. So it's not like you don't snap out of the album. You know what I mean? I find that's a really good, you know, technique to have, when people can add these different elements in, but you're still glued.
You're still immersed in it.
Yeah. Because it flows, and the dynamics are, I mean, it's just, yeah, man, this is awesome.
For me, I know something is worthy when I get away from it for a month or whatever, and then I put it back on and I go, oh my God, this is really good. You know,
That's
then,
cool.
Then you know, it's taken about 18 months or whatever it was to actually see the whole thing into fruition, to get it done, you know, over time, you know, working with different people and their schedules and developing the songs and trying things. And I have a bunch of other material that could be completed still too.
Oh, part 2.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what? If
part
this
2.
is well received, it's you know, we'll see. It might happen. I might be able to do another one.
Oh, cool.
Good.
That'd be
Well,
great.
we're here. We're ready.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
ready. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. I got to give a shout out to our sponsor, and we love to promote them. They're the National Parks Arts Foundation.
Yes,
Everyone, if you go to nationalparksartsfoundation.org, they're an awesome nonprofit for artists. So what happens if you're an artist, dancer, musician, poet, filmmaker, just saying, there are
Mm.
artist residencies where you get to stay in a park for a month. So like Hawaii volcanoes, they put you in a massive house overlooking the
house.
ocean, and you
I
get
mean,
to play in Hawaii volcanoes
That's
national
great.
park for a full month, and they have a recording studio. Just saying.
Hello,
Wow.
There's
just saying.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Just saying. There's Chaco Canyon up in northern New Mexico. There's Dry Tortugas, where you go and you have your own island on Loggerhead Key, and you have to take somebody with you because you have to go with your supplies, like all your groceries. They
Right.
put you on a boat, take you to be off the grid on an island. I
Which
think
is
that is
cool.
super
Wow.
cool. I mean, it's unique. So anyway, nationalparksartsfoundation.org is the website. So check out the opportunities.
National Parks. Art
Everybody.
Foundation. Got it.
Yeah, they are awesome. So
That sounds fantastic.
That's
it is,
awesome.
it really is. We do a show with them every first Friday and interview all the artists while they're there, unless they're on Dry Tortugas, then we can't connect. But we do a lot of interviews with the artists that have been doing the parks. But your website, everyone, chuckwright.com.
Mhm.
That's a great place to go to buy the music, learn more, watch the videos, and also any of the special places that you want people to know about for social media, any of that. Bandcamp.
No, I'm not at Bandcamp.
Okay.
Because I'm with the record label. You don't go
Mm.
to Bandcamp. You could go if you want to know more about my event, Ultimate Jam Night. UltimateJamNight.com has a lot of information on it. I'm actively on Facebook too much, so you can find me there as well. My personal is Chuck-Wright-1, and then I have an official Chuck-Wright official, which you can go to as well and follow there. And I have a YouTube channel, of course.
Yeah.
It actually, people might find it fun to watch me in Lederhosen on Full House. I did the last season of Full House with John
Oh,
Stamos.
cool.
There
So
you go.
yeah, doing a Kiss song in full polka version.
No, that's it. I'm gonna go watch that. I missed that.
You
Yeah.
might get a laugh out of that. We were called the Monkey Puppets. Anyway,
Oh, no
Oh
way.
my
named
God,
by one of the
man,
Olsen twins. Yeah, in the show. Yeah, it's
that's funny.
it's fun. It's like whatever.
You got to do stuff like that. We
Yeah,
dressed up as
fun.
clowns to sell coloring books for an animal shelter.
Shush, don't
So,
tell.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we did go through a drive-through, and they didn't think it was funny.
Oh,
But
okay.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
they don't like that. Well, now
Yeah.
everybody's in the mask anyway, so now
But-
it probably wouldn't
but
bother
now we
them.
know what it feels like to be
But-
kissed going out with all that makeup. It's not
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want to do that every day.
Hell no.
Gene's a friend of mine, and I just, I've never really asked him that. I go, how do you deal with having to wear makeup all the time? But that's their thing. They're
Oh, they're smart. They are
yeah.
smart,
No,
smart,
Gene
smart.
will sell anything. He's mad at a nickel because it's not a dime. So you know what I'm saying?
And it's bigger. What's up?
Yes. Oh boy, here we go.
Well, really, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close it off
All
with
right.
Army of Me. So everybody enjoy this. This was the first single off the album. Again, Chuck-Wright's Sheltering in Sky is out, so go get it. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Thanks. It's been a joy talking with you both. Thank you very much.
It's fun.
That's the time to chase her.